So welcome to today's Fit with friend of Precision Golf.
Happy Monday, everybody. We are back live and we are Jamesless again. Well, let me tell you, it's going to be all sorts going on tonight, so bear with us. Simon and I coming at you Monday night live as usual, 6 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a big weekend of golf, hasn't it, with the Olympics going on, and we've now got another week of Olympic golf this week. What did you feel about the Olympic golf that we've just experienced at Paris National?
I think it's a spectacle based on the players who are at the top, the quality on show, the result, how close it was. I think it was brilliant. I think it's a massive shame the coverage is a little bit and piece, and rather than subscribing to Discovery Plus for everything, at least you saw the climax of it. But I also think it's just a bit of a miss that the format is what it was. I'd like to have seen it being a little bit different. Having said that, what a great 72-hole stroke play event, and they were brilliant.
Scotty Scheffler ran at the field with a 9-under par 62. Incredible golf around the golf course that if you've watched it on the DP World Tour, you'll know that the closing holes, well, all the way around, there's a lot of water in play, and you would have seen the Ryder Cup there. What do we make of Scotty's run now into the FedEx Cup? Do we think it's just a straight shootout between him and Xander?
I think it's a straight shootout between Scotty and Scotty, isn't it? He's just, what a 9 holes to win it. What a round to win it, but what a back 9 to win it. I think 6 under the back 9. And he's just not meant to birdie all those holes in a row. I mean, it's not an easy course, yet they made it look it. So, but I think it's going to be fascinating to see through that sort of build through the last few events who comes out on top. But I can't see Scheffler not based on that.
Very much so. It'd be interesting to see what he goes on to do on the back of this. I mean, I'm not sure how much an Olympic gold means to Scotty Scheffler. I'm not sure. I'm still a little bit sidelined with the whole Olympic medal and how much it is meaning to them personally. But they're all talking a great game. They're all saying that it means an awful lot.
It looked on the podium like it meant something to him.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's just being stood up there and with the national anthem and thing, but actually, I think I'd like to think it's one of the 2 events they play. Well, 3 if you count President's Cup. It's one of the big events representing your country. And whilst the Brits didn't get paid, but the others did get paid a certain amount based on finish. It's not about the money. This one, it's about the medal, and I think it did mean something actually.
Well, we'll never find out. But of course, I think
romantic
you are an old romantic, yeah. But I think there'll be pressing matters on their mind going into the FedEx Cup in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we've got the ladies now head out there and play. We've had Charlie and Georgia in here training with Kate, getting prepared for the Olympics. Again, it's going to be another different week for the girls, in and amongst the athletes. And I think if I was to look on what they're taking away from this week, the golfers, is that they get an opportunity to mix with athletes that a lot of them will respect and admire for what they do on the track and field and whatever other sports that they're playing. I think for me, that's what they're probably taking away more than necessarily the golf tournament or the medals. For me, I think they feel like they're being part of an Olympic team, and I think that's something that has really resonated and has certainly come through from all the posts that I've seen. Yeah,
I'd agree. I think for golf, what is it? It's the 3rd one since 100 years back or whenever it was that happened before, and obviously it's great if you get a medal. If you're stuck in 25th. Does it really mean other than, yes, as you say, it's great to be in, it is one of the, if not the biggest global sports events, but you get that breadth of athletes there to be with. I think it'd be interesting this week with the girls playing. Obviously, the guys have played the course a lot, so seeing how do the girls tackle the course, I think would be really interesting based on how much less experience of the course they've got. I think that'd be fascinating.
Interesting stuff. Well, as per usual, we have our iPads. I've even got a stream deck going on here where I can control the cameras remotely. I mean, it's just getting a whole new type of tech that James has set up. So do get those questions coming in. We've got our usual Precision Golf channel and the Good Golf Coaching channel. If you can, keep those questions to the relevant channels. That would be super. Makes it a little easier for us at this end, but not essential. So we'll kick ourselves off with Brian Schultz. Is a D7SW sandwich too heavy for irons? I got fit for clubs 0.5 over in length. I understand this will increase swing weight. I'm having a very hard time hitting my new clubs. I'm thinking about returning them.
I think so. Is it too heavy? Again, it's all relevant to the player. Wedges, there is a difficulty with wedges going longer than standard. There are very few heads that you can control the weight with. A lot of wedges have got a bit heavier, so wedges can amplify the swing weight more than irons. So there are several iron heads that can get lighter than standard for building longer than standard and not letting swing weight amp up. But yeah, no, it is tough with wedges, and I would go back to whoever you fitted them, who fitted them for you. Have a conversation with them. Don't just give up on them straight away. It might not take much to rectify.
Very good. Chris Burgess, the Yorkshire Blade. Hi guys, brilliant show. Can you hit King Cobra MB against Mizuno 241 and give us your opinion on feel, sound, and performance, please?
Certainly can.
We can do that. We can do that. Thank you all so much for joining us. This is a regular spot that we put in play every Monday night, 6 p.m, taking your questions, demonstrating anything you want us to hit, anything you want us to explain when it comes to golf coaching. Can do that for you, no problem at all. So do send in those requests. If you haven't seen it, we had Georgia Hall on the show last week. She joined us before heading off to the Olympics this week, and she shared some of her insights on winning the Ladies British Open and the tournaments that she's won over the years. So that was a real good insight from her. Hopefully we'll get Charlie on at some point. James is away with Kate and the boys and girls, sunning themselves in Mallorca. Don't be getting burnt. We don't want you coming back looking too bronzed. Simon, so what's the characteristics of these two golf clubs that we're about to test? The Cobra MB and the Mizuno 241.
So classic blade heads, very, very simple muscle back style heads where there's no forgiveness really. It's a single piece head, maximum control, and that's really the more you go towards a blade, the less forgiveness. You're mitigating against a shot that goes too far. So there's nothing giving any extra kind of punch off the face. The more forgiving you go, you're mitigating, easy for me to say, mitigating against a miss hit that comes up short. That's why you still see a lot of the world's top players using these, because they're more worried about the one that goes further than they're expecting than the one that comes up short.
Yeah, for sure.
And they look great as well.
Yeah, well, that goes so far, doesn't it? You've got to have a great looking iron. You've got to have a great looking golf club in general. But I think over the years, as we've got way more performance led, I think there's a lot more people that are almost to heck with it, what it looks like. Yeah. I'm more about how it's going to perform and hopefully take the cash off the boys. Yeah,
and a lot of players now on tour who are doing the same thing, and certainly at the upper end of the irons, for sure. They might still keep a blade style head in the 7-iron down, where you're not necessarily looking for the forgiveness, and the absolute distance control is really key, and then graduate a little more performance at the top end of the bag, for sure. So quite a lot of split heads, or just players now going that bit more forgiving because, half a shot around is worth a few shekels.
100%, 100%. We've got Gary Satterfield in. I'm just going to get his question out there because he always makes me nervous seeing what he's been asking. So, hi guys, happy Monday. Relating to your last video, I understand your chest being open at impact. Can your chest outrun your arms too much, and how to prevent it? I will cover that in a moment for you, Gary.
So I'm going to hit the Cobra first. Underrated as heads, the Cobra heads. They're really, really nice, very, very classic shape, very clean, simple look. Oh, and you definitely know that you've hit it out the toe like that one.
Well, Simon hasn't hit his usual 600 or 700 golf balls this evening.
Yeah.
So we'll. I've just come back here to control the.
So you get. I mean, again, it's a single piece forward head, really buttery soft feel. Just again, there's nothing. You haven't got any tungsten. You haven't got anything extraneous in the head that's creating the higher pitched notes. So the Cobra heads have generally been, the CB and the MB have been good at retaining a bit of flight and spin. Certainly getting the flight up a little bit more than some of the other brands. So, that one there, 18 a bit launch, 5.5 spin. A bit of a slap, but we'll take that for second swing of the day.
Yeah, not bad at all, not bad at all.
I've made
I'm
sure
just
these are
controlling the
same,
cameras over here, so hence why I'm out of shot.
I've made sure these are the same loft as well, so testing like for like. So the Mizuno head, if anything, a little bit of a longer blade length, slightly longer heel to toe. The Cobra a bit square and shorter, but still a classic shape. Really very, very clean top line, very neat from the hosel into the leading edge of the Mizuno. That's really noticeable. Slightly shorter in the heel side of the head as well. So I've left that right a little bit. It's a very slightly different note. I would say there's a little bit more, it's a slightly higher pitch sound off the Mizuno head. I wouldn't call it a pop, but it's a little bit of a higher pitch note, but feel-wise through the ball, again, really, really soft. Very similar feel, these two heads. I've left both those a little bit right, so that's going to flight it up a touch more. But so that one's faded a little bit more, slightly better hit. A couple of 100 revs more spin as a result of the fade, but very similar numbers. Slightly different note off the Mizuno. But if you're looking for a soft classic blade head, or CB and Cobra do that as well, both are two of the softest feeling heads out there.
Anything in there, what can people take away from smash factor and ball speed now? Where would you tend to want to see smash and ball speed for a standard 6-iron?
So ball speed is really relevant to what club speed. So the smash is the key thing. So I'd be looking, so this is actually slightly higher loft than I play, so the flight's up a little bit more than where I would normally see it. But ideally on a 6-iron, you're wanting 1.4. If you can get a bit more, great, but you don't want to get more with low spin. So we're always looking for a balance of that ball speed, the smash factor. The higher you can get, the 1.4, 1.42, great. But as long as you've got the trajectory to get the control, there's no point having 145 smash and 3,500 spin on a 6-iron because it's not stopping.
And with the aid of TrackMan and as we've got control of the cameras here tonight, it might be quite interesting to just elaborate maybe just a little bit more on what the impact location tends to do with strike characteristics and energy on the club face. Where that was a pretty nicely struck shot there. Obviously, you lost a little bit because of the face to path value.
Yeah, and dynamic loft for me a little high on that one, so I lost a little bit of ball speed there as well.
Yeah,
so,
and what do you tend to see when you're getting different strikes across the face? So let's talk maybe about the bottom right hand corner as we look at the screen there. What would you tend to see from a strike and distance and energy characteristic?
Yeah, I mean, the low heel is the weakest part of the club. It's the bit that's travelling the slowest. And as that toe's coming through, you retain more ball speed out the toe side. So they drop off with both. But the heel side, what happens is essentially at impact, the heel side stops, the toe carries on, and you get the ball gearing up the face. So you get higher spin, lower ball speed. At the toe side, it takes spin off, gears a little bit of spin off. So you still drop ball speed, but you drop spin as well. So a toe strike generally, because of that spin, holds a little bit more yardage than a heel strike.
Yeah, and when you're working with clients, obviously you get to have these heat maps of where people are striking. So as you're working through with the golf clubs, are you able to move the strike around when you're fitting people? Obviously if they've turned up here now out the middle, almost more pressure, right? Because all of a sudden you've got to make sure that they're gonna keep it out the middle, but particularly if they're moving it out the toe or heel or wherever.
What you tend to see is the better the club setup, the more that heat map tightens up. So if the club and the player are out of sync, then you're going to see more of a I mean, you get somewhere you get literally just dots around the face, but you generally will tend to get a less red centered heat map, and it'll be more in the blues and the greens and just spread out into the toe or the heel. And the better the setup, the more stable the player is from a postural point of view and a stance point of view, so they're putting the same point on the head. It might be a bit toe or a bit heely, and you can use the head to mitigate that a little bit as well.
And I think really, over the years, when people have really started to work with TrackMan, I think they really get a bit fearful of it. Particularly if you start to see images that start looking a little bit like this, and it kind of that three-dimensional look and effect of a golf swing is something that people I don't think necessarily have sort of jumped on top of quite yet. I don't think it's. I think if you're going and seeking a golf coach that actually works with TrackMan and explains it, I think we're still very slow for golfers in general to get up to speed with this. Do you think there's a way around that? Do you think, or do you? Should I say, what do you think is the way forwards for getting more information of TrackMan out, or do you think it's not necessarily relevant?
I think for a lot of players, I think there's too much. I think there are going to be key things to focus on. Your like the key markers around impact, angle of attack, path, face to path, smash. Those are the key. And then from a fitting point of view, launch and spin. Those are the key numbers because that gives you reasons why you're seeing the shot shapes and the shot patterns you are, and then the launch and the spin numbers and the smash, the efficiency of flight. I think the problem is that we've had so much. And it's a good problem. We've had so much acceleration of tech, and golfers have come from such a low base, and it's gone from there to there in terms of the data. And I think the problem is that there's a lot of information out there online, but it's making it relevant to the person. And I think that's the biggest problem. The biggest, and I'm sure you see it, you hear it in your teaching bay, the same we do here. Oh, I looked at this online and I've decided to do this. The most important thing is why. Why is that relevant to you? And it's dangerous because someone could practice something that would ruin their game, and we have seen it quite regularly where they've picked up on something it's a hot topic at the moment, and you go back to stack and tilt. Amount of people ruin themselves on stack and tilt, which is great for certain players, but it's horrible for others. And it's knowing what's right for you and not. I think that's the tough bit.
And I think we'll move in a little closer. I think we'll flip around the other side. That's okay. So I think what's important is you made a good point there that we've come from such a low level tech, and
that looks all right.
These units are expensive, and of course they haven't been in the masses for a huge amount of time. But the acceleration of the information has been vast, and it's trying to get people on board with it and catching up is quite a difficult one. Let's get the other iPad just to answer some more questions. Sorry, dancing around here. Daniel Winterbottom, hi gents, seem to be taking way outside on takeaway, then casting resulting in pull or weak slice. Tried to take it back square, which is improving strike, but still two-way miss. Any other thoughts? Well, I think the best way to go, Daniel, is to really set yourself up on either one side of the coin or the other. So either go a super strong grip or either go a super weak grip, and then start to build a shape. So if you're going to go a super strong grip, get yourself aiming right, seek a super strong grip online and start getting the ball bending right to left. Whether you like it or not, the grip will ultimately, in the end, win over in the shape that you see in the sky. So if you get yourself a super strong grip, just hit some balls without any thought, just hit the golf ball and the ball will start bending left. And at that point, change your alignment, aim up the right, and enjoy hitting one shape. And if you want to then tone that down, then go seek advice online or with your golf pro that might filter that down. But at the moment, trying to look for straight, I think, is the worst thing you want to do, because it's really difficult to hit a straight shot even when you're playing great golf. So seek out one grip or the other, build one bend, and then go from there. That would be my best advice.
I mean, the other bit, from the club side of it, the club could be making it hard to deliver as well. As you say, we have very similar speeds, but totally different club setups. And how you move is, if the club doesn't complement it, then you're constantly having to find impact with it, and that means the hands, all sorts of compensations come in as well. So it could well be that you just got a horrible club setup that's not letting you free up and naturally move through the ball, and that's often the reason for a two-way miss as well.
Noel 1988, hi gents, looking for to the live as always. Just wondering how much the Wilson CB can be bent loftwise. They are the previous model.
I'd always be careful of bending loft more than a couple of degrees, because you start to affect the offset, the Wilsons have got a more cambered sole generally than most, so you don't get the leading edge too diggy, but you can start to change, you can start to make horrible marks on the hosel as well if you bend loft more than a couple of degrees. But yeah, you start to change how the sole interacts. And I say offset numbers, particularly de-lofting. So I'd be careful about going more than 2 degrees.
Got some questions coming in on my channel. Bhupinder Bogle, good evening. Bhupinder, nice to have you with us. Question for me, could you please advise how to play a shot out of fairly deep rough where there are trees with overhanging branches in front? So the problem you've got when you're playing out a deep rough, you've got to get the ball flighted. And the only way you can get it flighted is with loft, because you want to effectively cut through the grass with more of a lofty golf club. Therein lies the problem, Bhupinder. You're trying to get it out of deep grass and you've got overhanging branches. So my advice is find a hole in the trees that is high and choose that one, rather than only have eyes for the fairway and eyes for the flag and not take your punishment. So if you're coming out of deep rough and you need to keep the ball low, good luck with that, because that's a very difficult shot.
Context, Bhupinder plays a narrow tree-lined course.
Yes. So Bhupinder goes on to say, struggling to prevent the face closing because of the grass, but needing to keep the flight low, so to avoid the branches in front. Yeah, I mean, that's, as I say, it's just it's a problem that coming out of thick rough and trying to get some loft on it. That's why we take more loft in the rough. It's like, you know, if you've played enough in Spain, they'll often put a bunker underneath a tree. And so you've got to get it out of the bunker without it in the tree. It's a difficult shot, right? Because you're trying to get it over the lip and below the tree. It's a difficult shot. Don't hit it in the rough. That's what I would say. Sorry, I can't give you a more guaranteed way around that problem. Frank Lehman, hello from Hamburg. Hello, Frank. Nice to have you with us. Please, can you explain how to hit a stinger, for example, with a 4-iron from the tee, and is it the best solution to hit it downwind? I would assume that you mean hit it into the wind. Hit it into the wind. So the old stinger Rooney. So the stinger was made popular by Tiger, obviously. The reality is, I think the stinger is a difficult shot because as soon as you're moving the ball back in your stance with little loft, it's so easy to get too much from the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim dead straight. I'm going to drop the ball back in my stance to take the loft off of it and move the handle forwards. So this is one way of doing it. I'm going to show you two ways. So ball back in the stance, handle forwards, and I'm now just going to aim dead straight and try to hit that shot. And what we'll end up seeing is, because I'm going to meet it too much from the inside, we're going to see that golf ball is going to fire itself, that was close, out to the right, like so. Needed.
Oh, I had to keep myself on my toes. Nearly, it was like being in the slips on that one.
And so when it then fires itself out down the right, you then have to start aiming yourself more left. And now you're going to have a big differential between where you're aiming and where you're trying to swing. And you've got little loft. You can see pretty quickly that this is an awkward shot. Personally, I would just take more club and hit it softer. That would be a better way to go. To not play, or to play the stinger, should I say, and not play it by just dropping the ball back, what I would do is grip the club a little bit stronger, place the ball in the usual place, so you play it more forwards, grip the club a little bit stronger, and because the grip is a bit stronger, what it's going to do, it's going to hood the face on the way back. And then try to feel like you're going to have to hold it on the way through. Again, it's a shot that you're going to need to practice. It's a tricky one. So grip it normally, grip it stronger, ball in the normal place, then the club face is going to be a bit more hooded on the way back, and on the way through, I'm now going to have to hold on to it in an effort to not make it go left, and the ball will come out a little bit lower. I almost shanked that, so I'm going to try and give that one another go.
I think, as you said, is the reason why the elite players only do it when they have to.
Yeah.
There are some who enjoy it and go to it in links conditions.
Yeah.
But
there you go.
That's not the norm. That's not what most of them do.
Yeah, it's just not. I mean, that one's come out quite nice, low and straight, but it's just not a shot. You know, when Tiger was playing, he was playing it a lot, but you don't really see it played that much, do you?
He's the best player we've ever seen.
Yeah,
So
I would steer clear of it with a passion personally. I'd just take more golf clubs.
It's possibly, when it comes off, it's possibly one of the most satisfying shots there is.
Yeah. But it's on a. It always feels. Whenever I play it, it always feels like it's on a knife edge. And for what purpose? If you've got, if you've got a little bit more club and hit it a little bit softer, much easier to play.
Yeah,
much easier to play. Jasper, does Stuart have a view on block versus random practice for those with very limited time to train? Yeah, I mean, block versus random, I mean, you live with both. I mean, obviously random is much, much harder. But I think there's a lot to be said for block because you would never be more than 9 yards out. So if you had 131 or if you had 140 and you wanted to play your 140 shot, sorry, so say if you had 131 and you played your 130 shot, you'd be 1 yard out. And if you hit your 130 shot, 140, you'd only be 10 yards out. So stock always seems to me to be a way easier way to practice. Random takes a lot of practice with stock. So I would always go more stock than random if you've got short of time. But random always makes you feel way more confident about your game.
And just for the terminology side of things, for those that might not know.
So random is, so stock is stock yardage. So 100 yards, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. Random would be a throw out any number. Trackman allows that to be played out. So you can throw in a tolerance, so 100 yards to 150 yards, and Trackman will throw out random numbers at you. You can also put in a stock value from 120 to up to 180 or whatever number value you want, and it will throw out those stock yardages. So it's a good way of practice, and it's actually the way a lot of golfers have gone with their improving their mental side of the game, working and performance under pressure. So it's a good way of practicing, but I would always opt for the stock more than random.
I mean, context on that as well. Henrik Stenson, when he was winning both sides of the Atlantic, never played a half shot because he had a 14-yard gap between clubs. So he was only 20 foot long or short if he hit the shot he wanted. So he was quite good with his irons.
Yeah, that's right. As I say, if you're playing full shots and you've got 130 club and a 140 club, you should never be more than 9 yards out, should you? Yeah. So that for me is always the best way to go. Paul Andrews, evening. The adjustable tee you use, where is that from? I'd like one for my sim. Thank you.
We get them from, I think it's Amazon. I'd have to double check because I'm not in control of that purchasing at the moment. I can't remember exactly where it's from. But if you email me directly, I'll have an answer tomorrow for you.
Very good. Lee Parker, thank you for the lesson today, Stuart. You're very welcome, Lee. It was lovely to meet you. I wish I'd discovered you 3 years ago. Well, better late than never. Doug, Q for Simon. Looking to renew my wedges currently. Playing RTX Zip Core. Not sure they blend well with my Wilson Staff CBs. Any recommendations?
I mean, there are a lot of good wedges out there. And it depends, I guess it depends what element they're not blending, you don't feel they're blending with your CBs. Ultimately, the key thing to the wedges is getting the grind right for you, and it may well be that that's why they're not blending. If the sole shapes don't complement how you deliver the club and the turf you play off, that could be the difference. So it's a hard one to say, oh, there's a best wedge, because they're all good and they're all single piece of metal with different sole shapes and as much grip as possible off the face. So without knowing your delivery and turf conditions, it's hard to say, oh, this is one to go with. It could be a case of getting loft gaps, but certainly sole shape and bounce and turf interaction will be the key to it. Sorry, I can't be more committal than that.
Yeah, no, very good. Jasper goes on to ask, would love to see Simon compare Ping 430 10K against the new Titleist GT2 and give his views on who might suit each.
Right.
Off he goes. While he does that, I will answer some questions from my channel. If you are new to the channel, to this feed on a Monday night, we do this every week, 6 p.m. I believe we might have a rather good player doing a little what's in the bag next week from Scotland, but we're not going to confirm just yet. So stay tuned for that. John Durensky, hi lads. What do you both think of the introduction of Kaylee and Takamo to DTC? Will it impact the big boys?
Not a chance. Won't impact them at all, because they're ultimately, so the upside of the direct to consumer is that they are cheaper, because there's less layers of profit that need to be taken from them, but they're also cheaper because the tolerances are higher. Will it affect the big boys? No, because ultimately brand will always play out. It's the reason it's no different than that. People want to be seen with the brand in the bag, and we've seen that over the years. We've had Bridgestone irons and things in here, and they just haven't sold because people didn't realise they made clubs, and they're some of the best quality. Strix are only just now getting the recognition they deserve,
And they've been going at it
and they've
for
been
years.
brilliant for years. So, so the answer is it won't even touch them.
Can I throw in a question on the feed here as well? What is Kaylee and Takamo?
So Takamo, they're kind of they're direct-to-consumer head brands. So Takamo are more of a European one, if I've got that one right.
Right.
But they're essentially because they're direct-to-consumer. You haven't got distributors and things taking profit, and so then the price amping up. So they are they're lower volume, but they are lower price as a result as well. And so actually they're great in that respect, in that they're getting golf clubs into people's hands at better prices. Yeah, golf clubs have got dear, and this is a conversation off the back of one of our Titleist review video. They are expensive, and I think this is something that the brands really have to have a look at. I know that PXG came in at the top end, and they all went, "Oh, great, we can sell clubs dearer, up the prices go." But there are only so many, club heads that can be sold at £500 plus as standard, and shafts that are £350 plus. Let's have a £100 or $150 really good quality shaft that actually they maybe make a bit less money out of, but actually let's have some quality at really good quality at lower price points. They can all do it. They're all making enough money. But I think to press the materials and the constructions, ultimately higher grade materials. It's always been the excuse, but it does mean prices have gone up, skyrocket.
Yeah. Von Everett, evening. Good evening, Von. Thanks for the Monday evening show. Following a wild round over the weekend, we've all been there. Any tips, drills, focusing on strike and how to find the middle of the club face again, especially from the tee? I can definitely do that for you. I did a great little video on this a good few moons ago, which makes me think I should maybe do it again. I've got a couple for you. And you might laugh at this, and it could go horribly wrong. But let's give it a go. So get yourself some golf balls in front of you. So you've got your object ball in the middle, and then you've got one on the outside inside, one on the outside inside to the right and the left of the ball. You're not going to move your feet at all. You're just going to keep your feet in the same position. And so what you're going to start to learn to do is to put the club head in space in different parts of impact. It will make you super aware of the club face. One thing that we get so caught up in this silly game is A, swinging it perfectly, and B, believing that a golf swing will deliver a perfect strike, and it just won't. There is still an art to finding the middle of the face. And so this little drill allows you to make a swing, hit the middle one. You don't move your feet. You then try and hit this golf ball over here. Find strike there. Then what you might do is try and hit that one back over there. Oh,
so I'm moving out of the way.
Didn't mean to get that one. Didn't mean to get that one. Maybe do the front one first. So you then get that one back over there. So you can strike that. And then we would put that one back over there. If you hadn't hit it, strike that too. And all you're doing is you're just learning to put the club face on golf ball. It doesn't matter where the golf ball is in your stance. That was a very bad effort, that one.
It was very close to your right foot, though.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. It should still be able to find the face with it. There we go. And all you're trying to do is just trying to find the face on the golf ball with it being in all of these different places. That way, it doesn't have to be, I was going maybe a little bit too brazen with a 6-iron, but it's a great drill of just giving you an understanding of where the club head is in space when you're down at setup. Impact is part and parcel of how well you swing it as a technique, but it's also iron hand as well. There's so many golfers out there that strike it so well with iffy techniques, and they've either been great squash players, tennis players, cricketers, got a moving ball involved. And so just try that little drill. It's a good one. You can check it out on my Good Golf Coaching page. I've done a few videos on ball striking in isolation, so give that a try.
Like I said, to add to that, one thing I see in the bay, people with the best balance strike the ball best.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so make sure you're centered on your feet
Yeah,
as well.
100%.
Right, 10K first, got the 9° in both heads.
That was arguably one of the worst demos I've ever done, I think.
I thought it was quite entertaining.
I'm glad
Nearly lost my shin.
glad I got it on camera. Brilliant.
So got the heads exactly the same weight. So 10K first here. So a little low on the face. Pull that up a little bit, one more. I mean, one of the things you get with this head is the feeling of a lot of stability, very little twisting. Sort of centerish strike, but a bit low on the face. But it is, what's notable with this head is how much club head there is there. So I swing with a little bit of open and closed rotation. And so for me, that weight being a long way at the back, I tend to find wants to rotate the face open. So I have to work a little harder to square it up than some of the smaller heads. Let's see if I can get this a bit higher up the face. So I think with the pings, they are a kind of harder sound. So that was probably still a little bit low, maybe a little bit inside the face. But considering neither of those are great strikes, very, very stable. This is, as the design states, the 10K, maximum forgiveness. Really, really solid. But say it's quite a hard sound to it, which isn't to everyone's liking. But very, very forgiving. Let's pop the.
Have you've recently changed your game? Is there a club that's come out recently that you've gone, that's quite interesting?
What, from driver point of view?
Yeah.
With how well I've been driving it, absolutely not.
No, okay, that's
no. I mean, it is. Well, I've probably gone through one of the best, like half a dozen rounds of driving a golf ball in my whole playing career.
Yeah.
So, and I also just know how little there is from last year's to this year's, and with where my ball flight is, ball speeds.
Yeah.
It's just
not enough difference.
And for those who've seen the review on the TSRs to the GT comparisons, there's a little bit more spin stability on the new to old models on the drivers, but that's pretty much it. Ball speed, you can't really push it much further. Fairways is a good difference, but there's a bit of a feel difference. So the GT, whilst there is weight back, one of the technologies they've done, they've got the composite crown, which has allowed them to put weight forward and back. So they haven't just shoved it back to get maximum forgiveness. They put weight forward to keep the spin down a little bit as well. So it's a less hard sound. That's one of the things with the Titleist head. It's a slightly softer note. It's a little bit of a less harsh sound off the face. And for me, and this is the key thing for me, this doesn't launch quite as high. The ping head with more weight at the back works it underneath, and I get a little bit more flight out of it. And as a result, more spin. So for my swing, the Titleist head, I've just gone right underneath that with a horrible swing. The Titleist head tends to, actually the spin is still stronger, tends to give me a stronger flight profile than the ping, but it's a quieter sound out of it rather than a harder sound out of the ping. Lots of stability out of this head as well, though, so very little twisting. Both really good heads. I think potentially if you tend to hit a higher ball, the Titleist head will give you a bit of a stronger flight, so you might squeeze a bit more yardage out of it. But the 10, again, it's varies player to player. The 10K isn't that high spin from a design point of view, but it just spins more for me.
Very
harder
good.
Sound.
Very good. Now, I've forgotten who asked for that. That was Jasper.
Yeah.
Connor Knight, wanting a forward, what's the difference between lofting a 5-wood down versus 3-wood up? We've got 20 minutes and there is an awful lot of questions that have come in.
Loft it up, closes the face. Loft it down, opens the face. That's it. But there are some forward heads out there where you don't have to do that now. Titleist, Callaway, TaylorMade. So there are a few models out there where you don't have to do that adjustment.
Gal Polank. Hi guys, I was offered a Callaway Apex utility wood with graphite design hybrid shaft in it. Should I be worried about build quality due to very different tip sizes? Cheers.
It depends where it was built. Ultimately is the answer, but yes, they'd have had to do a decent bit of lynching down on that shaft. So is it a concern? Yes, but it depends who's done it as to whether it's a proper concern or not.
John Puckett, good evening. Good evening, John. What's the biggest difference between the regular KBS Tour V shaft and the Tour Spec Tour V shaft? For example, the 120X versus the 130X.
So the Tour Spec, the Tour Stiff and Tour X are just stiffer. So the Tour V X Flex is 120 grams. The Tour V Tour S is 125, and the Tour V Tour X is 130. That's the only difference. The profile's the same. They just ramp up in weight.
Fab. Evening, gents. Been watching a lot lately. Loving the content. Wilfred. Thank you, Wilfred. September 79:17 p.m. I struggle with high spin with the TSR driver. Does the new GT3 spin less?
Not a lot. It is a little bit less spin, but you're looking at a couple of hundred revs maximum in terms of what we've seen so far. Wouldn't expect to see a lot more of a difference than that for you. If you want to kill spin in a titeless head, it's then GT4, but you lose forgiveness.
Gary said he was first in line, and I haven't answered his question. Gary, I'm going to do that for you in a moment. I said I was going to do that. Sean Quigley says, hi guys, can you do a what's in the bag for you both?
Yeah, very quickly.
You start.
TSR 3, 8 degree, slightly lofted up with a Sinister 65, stiff in the driver. I have a Paradigm, Triple Diamond, 3-wood, and I've got a 5-wood in there now with a Kyoshi Purple stiff. I have a Strixon driving iron, PXG 311T, 317T 4 iron, it's Gen 2, and then Mura MB 001, 5 to pitch, 3 Vokey wedges. Irons have CT 115, soft step stiffs in, and the 55 and the 60 have Modus 120s.
Titleist T100s, what shaft have I got?
You got a Project X 6.0.
I thought it was 6.5s.
Actually, go on.
Yeah,
Project X.
6.5.
We'll say it on the back.
Yeah.
No, stickers are off.
Yeah, I got to take the stickers off. Yeah, 6.5. Wedges, I've got 50 SM9. I've got a 54 SM9. And I've got a 58.
08F, 10S. We've got an S grind on that one as well, 58S. I've got a 56D and a 60M.
I've got, what's that?
TSI 2.
Hybrid.
Good for Stuart because those spin a little bit more than most.
Yeah. I'm a low spinner.
And he hits it that way.
Yeah, bit low. TSR 2 forward. That's at 17 degrees.
Mm.
And my driver is a TSR 2 as well. 11 degrees.
Yeah.
Yep.
So very similar club speeds, but 11 degree TSR 2 and 8 degree TSR 3.
And this is my new favourite.
Your Frankenspider.
Yeah. 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 I'm buzzing off of that. I really enjoy using that.
Putter-wise, I've got a custom Bettinardi, standard head shape, the Queen Bee 11 short neck, but I had it slightly pimped from a 40s.
I'm clueless when it comes to equipment. Absolutely clueless. Gary, let's go back over here. Well, I promise, Gary, I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you. Flip, not my son, which is Lindsay. Lindsay, nice to see you. He's a skilless chap of mine, and he said, "Oh, I'm Flip, not my son." On the discussion on iron design, is it really going from a blade to a game improvement iron to see a difference in forgiveness, or is there true difference between a blade and player's cavity back?
Yeah, true difference between a blade and a player's cavity, especially now where they've got high density tungsten. So take a T150 heel and toe, you notice a big difference off center in terms of stability. So you don't have to go anywhere near as big as you used to get forgiveness.
Very good. If you're new to this Monday Night Live, we do this every week, 6 p.m. Simon and I. James is off swanning, drinking cocktails, but he does usually turn up and control the cameras. We take all your questions on golf instruction and club repairs, fitting, anything you like. So do throw great questions at Simon. I'm still waiting.
Try and quick fast some.
Yes. Will Field 3, the third. I've recently changed to T150s with the KBS Tour V110 in stiff. I play 1/2 inch long, being 6'4". Swing weight is a touch high at D5. Is there a way to reduce that? Finding it, I have very slight miss right.
You can do it with grip weight. You don't want to do it with much of it, but depending on what grip size you have, you could go a slightly heavier grip. Outside of that, I'm surprised at a ½ inch that they're quite as heavy as that. Titleist do offer a standard minus head weight if it's requested as part of the ordering process, but it sounds like they're a little on the higher side from a swing weight point of view for that length and that shaft. But you can, we avoid using grip a lot, but you can go kind of 5 or 6 grams heavier in the grip, and that'll just drop the swing weight a little bit.
So Gary Satterfield asked a question. I did a recent video on how to open your chest up, or having your chest open through strike. We've been brought up in keeping the chest closed or certainly straight in order to approach the golf ball from the inside. I did a video on how much my chest was open through strike, 30 degrees, my chest was open through strike. Gary asked, can you leave the golf club behind? Well, if you don't pull on the golf club, that's one way that you will leave it behind. And the second way is if the golf club is too
heavy.
And those two ingredients are the main reason why you would leave that golf club behind. So get the club weight right. In the same way, if you were to go into the gym and you were going to go and pull a cable out the wall and you pulled it and it was too heavy for you, your body would move quicker and you'd leave the cable behind. Or what you'd do is stabilize with your body and pull the cable. So if you're a puller of the golf club, make sure the weight is right. If you're not a puller of the golf club, make sure the weight is right, because otherwise it's going to be out of sequence down at the bottom. That's the reality. Hopefully, Gary, that helps. Robin Morton, I have the Garmin R10 and only use the data you use on your vids. It helps. That's great. Love to hear it. Chris Burgess, the Yorkshire Blade. Thanks, Simon. I went with Cobra MB purely based on feel and sound. Performance was the same.
I keep on thinking Yorkshire Blade is a brand of clubs.
I know. Let's have a little look at Albert Chung. Hi, Simon. Any hybrid shaft similar to a Fujikura Speeder TR105 stiff?
So the TR a little bit more stout. I mean, 105 is heavy. Hybrid shaft. I mean, just think with Fuji. I mean, you could go with something like a Ventus Blue. That's not going to be a million miles off. Certainly from a stability point of view, without making it harsh, because they go up to the 9s as well. So if you're playing those TRs or 105, that's a lot of shaft. It's not overly. The TR 105 I've not played with myself, so in terms of how it moves and how it swings, I'm not 100% sure, but certainly from a weight and stability point of view, if you were to keep it in the Fujikura range, then the Ventus Blue isn't overly tip heavy, swings nice and smooth. If not, the black is a bit more tip heavy, a bit more tip stout, it might feel a bit more solid.
Very good. Adam Donaldson, question for Stu. Finally got the handle pulled down and out to the ball line, feeling like it clicked today. Should I work that same move with driver? Absolutely. Make sure that you get the swing though. Thanks for all the content recently. You are very welcome. Just make sure that you watch my angle of attack drill and some of the driver drills that I've put out there. Dan Morey, hey Stu. Hey Don. Dan, nice to see you. I assume you're RC, Dan. Is that right? Stephen Island, Stuart, is side bend a requirement for good ball striking? Absolutely not. No. Too many people working on side bend. James Doherty, hi guys. It was fitted in March for a TSR3. Any point changing heads to a GT3?
If it's going well, no. I say, well, technically it's slightly better. It's a bit more consistent on spin, but GT isn't designed to replace TSR in someone's bag. It's designed to replace TSI or TS. It's looking at 2 to 3 models back to see a noticeable change. So TSR to GT, you'd have to be someone who's just happy to spend £550 and not get a lot back for it and just play the newer model. Technically, it's a hair better, but it's just a little bit.
Should we play nearest the pin?
Yeah. 16th at Paris.
Yeah, 16th at Paris National.
Seeing as Tommy hit a lovely shot in there.
Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Chris Burgess, the Yorkshire Blade is culinary. SND, hi chaps, are club sensors such as Arcos likely to affect performance in any way?
They can do, yes, because they do add weight. You know, the larger screw is about 8 grams, so that whilst it's above your hands and doesn't have a huge effect on the way it swings, you are adding dead weight. The best ones for minimising it are, and I'm trying to remember the name of them. They're the really fine little black ones. They're about 2 grams. Can't remember. Mine's gone blank as to which one it is. But there are some that add barely any weight at all, and yet still give you the data. So.
Very good. Martin Williams, will Ping be bringing out new woods next year?
I think when they launched. They may have gone into a January cycle, so next year, this year they didn't. So yes, they are likely to next year. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of kind of timings of when everything just merges into one at the moment.
Gary says that was worth the wait, Stu. Thanks. Well, don't want to disappoint you, Gary, or else you might turn on me in a Facebook on a YouTube live. Dan Morey, welcome to the golf scene, my friend. Welcome to the golf scene. So how far? Put it right on the back tees. Let's go long.
Well, this is, I think it's, that is the back 177. Or we did the second last time. We'll do 177. We can always do another one afterwards.
Simon, I like to do a little nearest the pin. Nearest the pin. What? It's 177, is it?
But it is a little bit downhill.
Is it? Okay. I'm going to go with. I might see if I can thump.
There might be some wind as well.
Might thump an 8-iron there. We're
going to put a little bit of. I'm going to put a breezy.
Breezy. When it's breezy, make sure you swing easy. Well, look, I think I've got this whole controlling the cameras and, answering questions down pat. I mean, he does nothing. He just stands around and uses his intellect.
Absolutely, that's the best way forward. Where's my?
That is a heck of a belt, like shirt trouser combo, by the way.
How is that? It's now not wanting to go off the. Hang on.
We're having technical issues.
We're having a mouse issue.
Oh, there you go. Back in the game.
Doesn't like something. Why is that not going?
Let's see if we've got any more questions coming whilst
I battle with a mouse.
Dan Morey's got a set of Callaway Rogue ST Max irons. What standard of golf are you, Dan? Let us know. Do you know much about the Rogue Max irons?
Rogue Max are pretty strong lofted. They're pretty. It doesn't seem to want to go onto the screen. So Rogue Max are very forgiving, good bit of offset, strong lofted, and this has just decided to not let me go anywhere other than a screen which I don't want to be on.
Well, we won't be playing nearest the pin anymore then. How are we doing?
Poorly.
Martin, Mr. Tightless. Oh, that's certainly interesting. YouTube. How did you get that? Mr. Tightless, I'm going for a GT fitting on Friday. Doubt I'll be changing from TSR3. We will see.
Yes, it's not letting me go off screen.
Okay,
so there's not a lot I can do.
Well, we can't hit any shots to any holes. The cameras are all off. We've answered all of the questions. Any joy
where
with
are we
that?
on time? Let me try it again.
Let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can do it. For those of you just checking in, I'm going to be on Sky Sports this Thursday and Friday covering the last of
interesting. It's not letting me off the screen at all. So
regular PGA Tour. No, okay, we can't. Regular PGA Tour events before the FedEx Cup. So do check me out on Sky Sports. I believe coverage will start at 6 p.m. Sky Sports Golf. Thursday, Friday. No,
I'm trying a different way.
We're going in from the side.
I'm trying a different way, just because. Why not? It's either going to work or it's not going to work.
It's looking positive. Oh, we're in.
Well,
no,
we'll see.
We're in.
We'll see.
It's looking positive. I mean, there's an awful lot of water around Paris National. They made it look exceptionally easy.
Yeah.
Exceptionally easy.
Yeah, that pin on the last, quite. I mean, the shot of Scheffler's down the rough. Even if he had a good lie, that was still an exceptional golf shot.
How are we doing?
No. No, it doesn't like something. Okay. Whether it's where we've got some of the other cameras linked to, I don't know. We'll have to.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, because you've got it over there. Can you take it over?
Oh, there
you go. Made me look like an imbecile.
There we go.
I do get lost when tech's involved.
Well, no, it's because we've got quite a lot going on with lots of mouses and mices.
Pout and whimper and.
Okay, so we got. Who is it? Oh, it's you up first. It's you up first.
9 mile an hour downwind, 9 foot down.
How far we got? 173.
173.
9 mile an hour downwind. That's
playing. I'm gonna go an 8 iron.
Yeah, it's a I'm gonna try and stress a 9-iron there. Let me see. Let me come over here and let me see if I can get the old. Oh no, can't get that up for some reason.
Quite like that one.
No, well, unfortunately, I can't get that one on the screen. So everyone's going to have to be told how far it's got. How close have you hit that?
Let's see. I can. That is. I can do proximity to the hole. We don't want curve. We want 7 yards.
7 yards. That's not bad. That's a nice shot. It's
Funny, it sounds a lot when you say 7 yards. It's actually only 20 feet, which is from here to the net. Which I'll take.
I think you can do better than
that.
Am
I doing another one?
Yeah, yeah. Go and have another go. See if you can get it in closer than that. I wouldn't want to go straight in, you know, and hit it like to a foot. You know,
that's all right. It would be applauded.
Oh, it's a little bit off the bottom of the face. That
could work though.
That was almost full thin.
That was almost, yeah. That was.
Hop right, hop.
That was an absolute disgrace. I'm going to give it one more. I'm not going to finish on that one. Peaked too soon in the first one, right? That should.
That's looking
just
tasty.
Ride the wind and drift. Oh, it hasn't. It's gone left. You see, therein lies the key, ladies and gentlemen. Warm up before you play.
Yeah, he hits about 600 shots before we come on here. Right, I don't think I've got enough club here for some reason.
We've got a 9-iron.
Yeah.
Oh, is that go right?
No.
Yeah. Oh.
Stay in the air. Stay in the air. Stay in the air.
Oh,
no.
No
Soup.
one likes to see
Soup.
that.
Soup.
Just going to try and hook one in to get it there.
There you go. Oh.
Don't think you're going to be inside 7 yards though.
I need more club. But I'm not gonna. My ego won't allow it.
What are you hitting?
9-9.
9-9. 170 yards with a 5-mile-an-hour downwind.
I'm going to hood it on the way back and get it in there a little bit hotter. There you go. That'll get back there. That'll get back there.
No.
Yeah, it will. Go. Well, it went a little bit further.
Let's see.
I think you won.
Stubbornness, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, 10 yards. Well, let's see if we've got any new questions come in. If we haven't, standard of golf for Dan, he just tries to hit the golf ball. Well, there's not a bad place to be.
No, actually, sometimes that's what always any of us should do, really.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Gary Satterfield, just out of curiosity, do you guys let customers have a brewski or two during lessons and fittings? Absolutely, I don't have a problem with it.
They want to, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to stay within a level that keeps it constructive. Some players I know can't play without having one. So.
Stephen Island, Simon, how do the KBS to TD60 Cat 5 compare to the Acra GX Red M4?
I mean, the GX Red is a stable shaft. They've really amped up the stiffness on the GX Red series. The TD and the Cat 5, that's also very stiff. But I think the smoothness of the feel at the GX, it's a little bit more evenly balanced. But even in the stiff versus the X, probably going to play a little bit lower spin. But the GX, they've really amped up that model this year.
Well, we've got through all the questions.
Very impressed.
I know, and we've controlled it.
And you, well, you. Well, you wouldn't want me anywhere near that thing, that's for sure.
Juggling. A little Barney down here, watching us all night.
Poor chap. Poor chap. Having to watch this.
Are you playing some golf this week?
I am. I'm playing at the Wisley this week. Yeah.
Have they
with
done
Lewis.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Garden 9 opened a few weeks back. Gone very well.
Has it?
Yeah.
For those of you that are not familiar, the Wisley is a private members club just around the corner from us. We're very blessed with good golf courses around here, aren't we? The weather's going to be fine all week, I believe.
I hope so.
It's a bit toasty out there.
It was warm today, yeah.
We enjoy these Monday Night Lives. We should have a special guest, but we're not going to reveal it just in case. He's been a little under the weather just recently. So hopefully, fingers crossed, you will want to hang around for that. He's going to be live in the studio, so we're going to hopefully grab him for the full hour. You won't want to miss that. So stick it in your diary. We always enjoy your interactions and hitting the golf ball and having a little bit of tomfoolery. I hope you do too. do share it with your friends, because we'd love to get more and more people involved. It's every week, Monday at 6 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, and we wish you all a great golfing week, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the Olympics. From Simon and I, bye for now.